Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very special episode of the Modern Mom's Roadmap to Balance podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Middleton, and this episode feels a little different and it's a little bittersweet because today I'm officially closing this chapter of the podcast. And before we talk about what's next, I just want to pause and say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Whether you've been here since the very beginning or just stumbled onto this podcast recently, you've been a part of a community of women and moms who are just trying to figure it out, find balance in motherhood, find balance in our relationships, and everything in between. Over the course of this podcast, I've heard from so many of you, the messages you've sent, the conversations that we've had on Instagram, the way you've shared episodes with friends. It's meant so much. This podcast has been such a special space for me to connect with you, and I don't take that for granted. When I first started the Modern Mom's Roadmap to Balance podcast, I was in a season of trying to figure out how to balance motherhood and what that even meant. And like so many of you, I was juggling kids, my marriage, work, and my own identity. I wanted the show to be a resource, a place where we could talk about the messy parts of motherhood, the honest parts of motherhood, and find some hope and practical tools along the way. And I think we've done that. We've talked about boundaries and self care, relationships, perfectionism, burnout, and so many of those things that so often weigh us down as moms. But here's the thing. Motherhood and balance, they started to feel like it wasn't enough. It felt like a box that I had outgrown. What I realized through this podcast, through therapy with my clients, and through my own life is that balance isn't a destination, it's a moving target. And sometimes chasing balance can actually leave us feeling even more behind. So over the last year, I started to feel a shift. This podcast was still meaningful, but I felt pulled in a new direction. I realized that so many of the conversations I was having, both here and with my therapy clients, weren't just about motherhood. They were about identity. They were about hitting 30 and that fear of looking around and wondering, is this it? Did I make the right choices? And what if I want to change my mind? I can't tell you how many women I've sat with who feel stuck, who feel like it's too late to change course because they've already invested so much in the path they're on. And I felt that too. That's when it clicked. This isn't about leaving moms behind. It's about widening the lens. It's about making space for the conversations that keep us up at night in our 30s or when we're about to hit our 30s. The fears, the choices, the relationships, the milestones we thought we'd have figured out by now. So that brings me to what's next. I am beyond excited to introduce you to my new podcast, which is called Unapologetically 30. This is a podcast about embracing who you are right now, even if your life doesn't look the way you thought it would by now. It's about rewriting the stories we tell ourselves about being behind, about milestones, about what it means to be enough. You're going to hear stories about incredible women, including therapists, creatives, and other people just like you who have made bold choices, taken micro steps, and learned how to create lives that actually feel like theirs. We'll talk about fear, perfectionism, boundaries, relationships, and all things we wish someone had told us when we were younger. The heart of Unapologetically 30 is this: you don't have to apologize for where you are or for wanting something different. You get to choose, you get to grow, you get to change your mind. So while this is the last episode of the Modern Mom's Roadmap to Balance podcast, it's really just the beginning of something new. If you found value in this podcast, if you've ever felt seen by these conversations, I think you'll love Unapologetically 30. Here's what I'd love for you to do. Make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe here to this podcast so you don't miss the first episode of Unapologetically 30. All of these podcast episodes from the Modern Moms Roadmap to Balance podcast will still be here. So you will not lose access to them. You can still come back to them later. You can still send them to friends. Those will still be here. Next, I want you to join my email list because I will be sharing behind the scenes updates, journal prompts, and ways you can be part of the conversations that is not necessarily directly in this podcast. And if you know a friend who's been struggling with this whole what's next in 30s question, share the new show with them. Sometimes all we need is one good conversation to feel less alone. Again, thank you truly for being part of this journey with me. This podcast has been a gift, and I cannot wait to step into this new chapter with you. So, this isn't goodbye, it's just a transition from Modern Mom's Roadmap to Balance to Unapologetically 30. I'll see you there.